Nurse practitioner and children's book author Scharmine Baker has been sentenced to over 7 years for fraud. Let's go.
This is Pocket Watching with JT.
Hey, Pocket Watchers, I am certified financial planner Jayson Thornton, and this is the Fraud Fumble. This is where I react to the financial failures of your favorite celebrities and influencers so you can get the financial lesson without going through the trouble. Let's go, Pocket Watching. On this episode, I will be reacting to the federal fraud case of nurse practitioner Scharmine Baker. But before I dig into the numbers, let's give this sister her flowers. Dr. Scharmine Lawson Baker, age 59, is a nurse practitioner. She earned her Bachelor's of Science in Nursing from Dillard University. She then went on to earn her Master's of Science in Nursing from Tennessee State University on a full scholarship. She then earned her Doctor of Nursing Practice from Chapman University, class of 2008. Now, the reason why most people may know who she is because she hit the scene as one of the heroes in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. After the devastation in 2005 in New Orleans, Louisiana, Dr. Baker returned to the city to provide house calls to the elderly, the sick, and the shut-in, people who were unable to get to the hospital. She was making house visits, making sure these people were doing all right. For her efforts, she was featured on several news outlets. She was featured on CBS News, The Washington Post, and Forbes magazine. Here she is right here, being interviewed by Katie Couric during her interview on the CBS News. She even earned the Nurse Practitioner of the Year award from Nurse Practitioners magazine. She even started her own children's book series, Nola the Nurse. She was also featured on an episode of Modern Day Heroes. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, how do we end up here? How do we end up on Pocket Watching with JT? Well, according to the federal government, while Miss Baker was absolutely a hero in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, apparently she was also guilty of healthcare fraud. On April the 25th, 2024, in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Louisiana, Miss Baker was indicted on Medicare fraud charges, claiming that she was a part of a nationwide scheme that took over $12 million for medically unnecessary cancer genetic testing. All right, well, how did we get to this point? Well, according to the federal government, between October 2018 and October 2019, Ms. Baker signed up as an independent contractor for a company called Bronson Medical LLC, a telehealth network based in Utah. Now, they are claiming that instead of practicing legitimate medicine, Dr. Baker became an automated rubber stamp for a massive nationwide telemarketing lead generation ring. Now, let's take a look at the timeline according to the federal government. Now, in 2004, Ms. Baker starts her legitimate, let me say that again, her legitimate practice of making house calls in New Orleans, Louisiana. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina hits. Her house visits explode. She was going from around 100 patients that she would see door to door in her legitimate practice. Then after Hurricane Katrina, it went from 100 to 500 people she would see door to door in Louisiana. All right. Now, here's the problem. In October of 2018, the good doctor is having some money problems. She's having cash flow issues, so she decides to sign up with Bronson Medical. And get this, her pay is $20. $20 per phone call. That's what she gets paid. All right. Now, because she's having financial issues, she just signs up and really doesn't vet the company that she's working with. That is a red flag. Another red flag is that she signs up and enters into what the federal government is claiming to be a sham, but an agreement with a neurologist who would sign off and supervise her work, because most nurse practitioners are unable to do work solo, right? They also need some sort of medical doctor that would sign off and be serving in some sort of, supervisor type of position. But according to the federal government, they never actually met, and he never supervised any of her work. That's a red flag. That's absolutely a red flag. Another issue that the federal government is claiming is that in April of 2019, the good doctor filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Yeah, we're very familiar with how bankruptcy works over here on Pocket Watching with JT. But for those of you who are unfamiliar, there are different types of bankruptcy. There's Chapter 7 bankruptcy, total liquidation. That's what most people think about. But there's also Chapter 13 and Chapter 11. Chapter 13 and Chapter 11 are payment plan types of bankruptcy. So the good doctor in 2019 filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy to try to set up a payment plan because she is obviously underwater with a lot of debt. At the same time, she's making those phone calls for $20 a pop. One of the issues is that she does not disclose the income that she's receiving from this independent contractor work, which could be actually, presented as fraud. See, if you willfully withhold income in a federal bankruptcy, that can be considered fraud. So that's a bit of a red flag for the good doctor. Now, here are some of the things that she signed off for that the federal government is claiming is fraud. On April the 29th, 2019, she rubber stamped a bill to Medicare for $34,120. The very next day, April the 30th, 2019, she rubber stamps again another bill for $34,120. The very next day, May the 1st, 2019, she rubber stamps again another medical bill for $34,120. Seems to be a bit of a pattern, but let's keep going. Later that same day, May the 1st, 2019, she rubber stamps another medical bill for $34,120. Then on May the 24th, 2019, she rubber stamps another medical bill, once again, $34,120. Then in August 14th, 2019, rubber stamps another bill for $34,120. One of the problems with this is that the federal government, upon their investigation, they are claiming that these phone calls last less than 30 seconds. Say that again. These phone calls where she is diagnosing or, saying that these people need major, major type of cancer screening and testing lasts less than 30 seconds each. Yep, let's take a look at the investigation. Between January 2020 and April 2024, the federal government is investigating the good doctor. This is what they claim that they find. Between 2020 and 2023, the FBI and other federal agencies perform a deep dive and audit of the company and their $89 million billing engine. Now, to be clear, the good doctor isn't a part of all of the $89 million, but she is a part of over $12 million. Okay. They see her electronic signature and stamp of approval on $12.1 million of what the federal government claimed was fraudulent claims. Okay. Now, another issue here is in September 2023, the good doctor sat down with the FBI for an interview. And at that time, she didn't have high-level legal counsel. Let me tell you something right now. If the FBI requests to sit down and interview you, you better have your A game on. I don't care how innocent you think you are. When the FBI says that they're going to sit down and interview you, you want the best attorney possible with you at that time. Or don't go. Don't go. Stay silent. Because at that interview, she downplays the role that she played in this grand scheme. Now, understand that this company, Bronson, it is committing fraud on a grand scale. Grand scale fraud here. And the good doctor, Miss Baker, she isn't rubber stamping all of this. They've got other networks of doctors and nurse practitioners. She's playing her role, but understand this. The federal government is going to come down on you as hard as possible. So going into that FBI interview without your A game is going to be a problem. That's why on April 25th, 2024, the grand jury indicts Ms. Baker on 6 counts of healthcare fraud. Let's take a look at the trial. Now, in July 2025, during the trial, one of the biggest issues that I believe Ms. Baker had, in her defense, she's claiming that she was a patsy, that she was unaware of this grand scale of fraud that was going on with this company. And the amount of money that she claimed that she was making off of it was negligible. One of the problems here is that when the CEO of the company took the stand, he testified against her. Now, this is a man who himself pled guilty to the fraud back in 2020. Okay, so he pled guilty to the fraud back in 2020. So by July of 2025, when the good doctor is trying to defend herself in court, he's sitting there in the witness stand pointing fingers. Once again, don't commit fraud. There's no honor amongst thieves whatsoever. I'm sure the CEO of the company probably got less time because he has not been sentenced yet, but he's probably working out a deal to get less time for pointing his finger at the good doctor, a woman who probably made so much less money off of the fraud than he did, but that's just how it works. Just how it works. He pled guilty. She had to play it all the way out, go through trial. And what happened at the trial? Well, here's the paperwork here. She was found guilty. Okay? You should have worked a deal. Okay? Should have worked a deal. Don't try and piss off the federal government and make them go through the full trial when they have so much paperwork. Cut a deal. Cut a deal. That's what she should have did. So we have March of 2026. The judge actually denies a motion for an acquittal because, of course, her legal team wanted to get the judgment removed, once again, claiming that she was, a patsy in the whole situation. That got yanked. And June 17, 2026, this woman was sentenced to 87 months. That's 7.25 years in prison. And then even after that, 3 years of supervised release. And she also has to pay restitution of over $1.5 million. Okay? Now, moving forward, September the 16th, 2026, is when she has to surrender to the federal government to go to prison. All right, so what are our lesson here, right? What is our lesson? Our lesson is that no matter how smart a person may be, no matter how accomplished a person may be, when you hit hard times financially, all logic can go out the door, okay? When a person is hit with trying to pay their bills or do the right thing, far too many people say, forget the right thing, I gotta pay my bills, okay? So let me be clear. Fraud is not the answer when your bills start to pile up. Fraud is not the answer when you're considering bankruptcy. What is the answer? The answer is being disciplined financially. You may not be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer making hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars a year, but if you discipline yourself in the way that you spend your money, you will not have to commit fraud. That's why I offer you guys the Pocket Watcher 7 money rules. All right. What am I talking about? I'm talking about 7 rules that will give you the power and the control over your financial life. That way you're not tempted to commit fraud. Number 1 is budgeting. Number 2, emergency savings. Number 3, debt planning. Number 4, insurance planning. Number 5, tax planning. Number 6, wealth planning. And number 7, estate planning. If you want to learn more about the Pocket Watcher 7 money rules, I encourage you, go to the website, pocketwatcher.net. Sign up for the free Pocket Watcher financial planning app. Inside of that app, you can create your budget. You can create your debt payoff plan. I have a step-by-step video course on how you can implement these 7 Pocket Watcher money rules in your everyday life. And if you have a question for the Pocket Watcher, you're going through some hard times financially, maybe you have a tax issue and the IRS is knocking on your door, you can book a free phone consultation with me. Just go to the same website, www.pocketwatcher.net. Click the free phone consultation button, and I'll do the best I can to give you a great recommendation so that you can solve whatever financial problem that's going on in your life. And if there is a celebrity or influencer who has been indicted for fraud, or maybe they are suing someone because they're claiming they're a victim of fraud, or maybe they have recently filed for bankruptcy and you want the Pocket Watcher's reaction, put their name down in the comments of this video and I'll do the best I can to get you guys some content. Thanks for watching.
Are you looking for real financial advice? Thornton Financial is here to help. Certified financial planner Jayson Thornton specializes in tax and wealth planning. Are you living paycheck to paycheck with no retirement plan? Do you need help with the IRS? Book your free consultation with Thornton Financial today. Budgeting, savings, debt management, and retirement. Even tax debt settlements. Get the advice you need to live your best life. Book your free consultation appointment today. Go to www.thornton-financial.com.